If you used to be able to have self-discipline and can keep pushing and grinding and getting things done, but now nothing's working, you feel like you've hit a wall, you're feeling stuck. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. It doesn't mean that you need more information. It doesn't mean that you've lost your edge and you'll never get it back. It just means that the rules during this season have changed. And in this video, I'm going to help you figure out what that is so you can get past that wall, so you can get unstuck, and so we can move forward. The thing is, for a long time, self-discipline worked because your nervous system could tolerate the pressure. You could override the discomfort. You could ignore those signals from your body. You could keep pushing even through the stress. You could lose that sleep and be okay the next day. And in some seasons that does work, but right now we need to change things. Self-discipline runs off of one thing. That's capacity. When you have enough internal capacity, pushing feels productive. When you don't, everything feels impossible. Here's what most people don't realize. You don't suddenly lose motivation. You don't forget how to be disciplined. You didn't stop caring. You're just exhausted from years of carrying so much. The stress was never processed. Those emotions didn't have space to be felt, and that pressure was just normalized because that's just life, right? Eventually, the nervous system stops responding to force, not because you're weak, but because it's protecting you. This is where most people get stuck. They notice that they can't move the same way that they used to. So they add more pressure, more self-criticism, more guilt, more of what's wrong with me. And that creates the opposite of the results that you want. Because self-discipline without regulation feels like punishment to an overwhelmed system. Your body doesn't interpret it as growth. It interprets it as a threat. So it shuts you down even more. That's why mindset tools that once helped feel useless. They were built for a regulated system, not a burnt out one. Now, this is one of the most frustrating places to be. I get it. You know what you should do. You understand the steps. You've done the work before. But something in you just can't move. It's not a knowledge problem. That's a safety problem. Action requires a nervous system that feels stable enough to engage. When your system is overloaded, even simple tasks feel heavy. Not because they're hard, but because your internal resources are depleted. Now, what can you do about it? Here's the shift that will change everything. You don't rebuild momentum by forcing discipline. You rebuild momentum by restoring capacity. That looks like reducing pressure instead of adding more. It looks like choosing fewer priorities instead of trying to fix everything at one time. It's creating safety in the body before demanding output. It's rebuilding trust with yourself through small, consistent action. This isn't about doing less forever. This is about resetting the system that does everything for you. Once regulation comes back, self-discipline stops feeling like an attack or force. It starts to feel like alignment again. If you're tired of working on yourself, hear me out, okay? You weren't meant to constantly override your nervous system to grow, to constantly push every season of your life. Self-discipline is a tool, not a lifestyle. And it only works when your system has something to give. You're not failing because you can't push like you used to. You're being asked to evolve, to grow into a different version of yourself. So if you're wondering why you can't move the same anymore, why motivation doesn't respond to pressure, why knowing what to do doesn't translate into action, it's not because you need more discipline. It's because your system needs regulation first. That's where real change starts to stick.